Hello YouTube. So in my last video I said that the X300 Ultra was going to arrive tomorrow, and that didn't happen. This has been sitting in customs for over a week and driving me absolutely insane, but it's finally here. That does mean this video is pretty late compared to the other unboxings of this kit, so I probably don't need to go into too much detail because you've probably already seen what's inside here. But we'll just take a quick look and I'll point out anything I think's interesting and how it differs from the other kits we've looked at. So it's basically the same box design as last time. We got the phone at the top. I've already taken the phone out and started setting it up. I've got the 1TB black version, and the rest of our accessories are in a drawer that pulls out. I'm just going to pull the whole thing out to make it easier. So here is the new photography kit, complete with 2 new lenses. The case feels like it's made of a nicer plastic than the last one, and it's got this velvety material on the inside to keep your phone free from scratches, which is quite nice. Let's get it attached. Basically the same design as the X300 Pro kit with large cutouts here. It doesn't have those notches on the corners which can be prone to cracking. The case has a decorative ring pre-installed, which doesn't do anything other than look nice. No kickstand this time, and a different latching mechanism for the grip, but these little grooves look to be about the same as the old one. Be interested to see if the old one slides on there. Probably not. And crucially, these lanyard affixing points are on the top of the phone, not the bottom, so it won't hang upside down from your neck when you're wearing it. Interestingly, it looks like they've given us 2 spare lens caps for the front and rear, which is new. You can see that the lenses already have their caps affixed, so I guess these are spares in case you lose them. We have a 67mm filter adapter with threading, so you can use ND filters or whatever else. A darker grey decorative ring if you want to change up the look a little bit, and our mounting plate, which looks quite similar to the old ones, but the position of the telephoto has changed. You can see here, not much wiggle on that. And what I mean is the telephoto is now towards the bottom of the phone when you hold it in landscape mode, more like the on a Magic 8 Pro. It'll be easier to grip the lens while your palm is kind of touching the phone rather than having to try and awkwardly get towards the top. So that's a good change, I like that. Now for our grip, you can see this new latching mechanism is like ball shaped rather than the more square latch we had last time, but it does affix in basically the same way. Bit of a different feel to it. It's a broader grip and I actually like that. That's very comfortable. It doesn't stick out so much. You still got zoom rocker, control dial at the top, record button, which is made of a nice shiny metal material, function button. I assume this will be to turn on and off the charging functionality, but we'll explore that more in a bit. I do like the look. It reminds me of the Sigma BF a bit, but rather than being milled out of aluminium, everything is still made from plastic. But it is, like I said, a nicer plastic than the PGY Tech one, I reckon. We've also got 2 separate lens collars for the 2 separate lenses, and kind of a modular system from the looks of things. This is your Arca Swiss compatible base plate with dual tripod threading. It's got this pill-shaped area sticking out from the edge, and then depending which lens collar you want, stick that over the pill and screw it into place. Nice, clever solution to the problem of having 2 different size lenses now. Yeah, there's a size comparison. It's much shorter and much slimmer as well, so I like that. It's also lighter. I can feel that it's lighter, so it'd be interesting to see if it's as good as the old one, considering the smaller optics. And perhaps more excitingly, here's our 400mm lens with a really big front element, which looks great. Now this is surprisingly small, because when I compare it to Oppo's 300mm, it does have the lens hood on. Let me take that off. Oppo's 300mm is massive compared to this 400mm. Again, does that mean one's better than the other? We're gonna have to find out today. We also have a redesigned lanyard. It is still made by PGY Tech, and it has the same quick release mechanism that we saw from all the other lanyards, but now rather than like a braided rope, it's a more traditional camera strap. It feels really high quality actually. That's a lovely material. And if you just want a wrist strap rather than an entire neck strap, this part's removable at the bottom. Got a little carabiner style clip just there. Yeah, like that. That's very nice. And you also get a couple spare quick release loops. Or is that just one? You get 1 spare quick release loop, so I guess you could use that on the camera grip and then the other 2 can go on the phone case. Should have mentioned earlier, but there is a Q20 threading for tripods on the camera grip and a USB-C port, which will be for charging, but I do wonder if this time they might let us do data pass-through. going to find out. So now when you first install the teleconverter, you will get to select which version of the lens you have. I've got the 400mm attached right now, so need to do that. And then if you want to change to the other lens, you can just quickly do so using that little toggle on your screen. And as before, the teleconverter is available in pretty much every mode on the camera, which means you can use Pro mode, you can shoot in RAW, Super RAW, you can shoot in up to 200 megapixel in landscape and night mode, you can use beauty effects and different filters in portrait mode. I don't think there's artificial background blur, but you don't need it anyway because the compression is so high from this lens. If you go into Pro Video mode, which has this new interface, you can shoot in log, you can apply LUTs, if you can tap the right thing. You can shoot up to 4K 120. Basically, most things you can do with the phone, you can do with this telephoto extender attached, which is really cool. And Vivo is the only one doing that right now. Everyone else applies some limitations to the telephoto extender. If you want to change what the camera grip does, you go into settings, you scroll down to imaging grip, then you get options for what the shutter button does. You can do burst photos or single photo. You get different focusing methods, constant or select. Double pressing the shutter button can do all of these things, launch into your favorite mode or immediately snap a pic. The zoom rocker can either zoom or switch lens. The scroll wheel can affect all of these things. It's on EV compensation by default, which I prefer. But you can also adjust the bokeh, shutter speed, ISO. You can see it all right here. And finally, the new function button, which is this one right here, can go straight to previewing your photos. Can turn the telephoto extender on and off. I might do that one actually, that seems quite handy. Or it can take photos while you're filming. It can turn snap on and off in street photography mode. Not sure what snap is, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, for now, I'll put it on telephoto extender mode. You can also update the firmware in here if there is a firmware update. There's not at the moment. So yeah, pretty customizable and lots of functional buttons, more so than Oppo, because with Oppo you only get the little zoom rocker and a shutter button. With this you got a lot more to play with, and it's more ergonomic, but it is bigger, it's more to carry with you. The last thing I wanted to check is if this USB-C port does data pass through or not. So I'm going to try plugging this SSD in and see what happens. It does grey out all of the options like file transfer, so I think it's just for charging, although it seems like it can do reverse wired charging as well. When I connect it without the grip, you get this OTG pop-up, which isn't happening with the grip. So I think this is just power pass-through only. Try once more. Yeah, it doesn't pop up. So just for power, which is still a shame, and it means if you want to use an external mic with a receiver, then you would need to remove the grip, which you can do. It's not that difficult to hold. And this new design means there is a tiny ridge, which is a little easier to grip than having no ridge at all. What I would have loved to seen on this new camera case is MagSafe. But no, it doesn't have it. Only Xiaomi is doing MagSafe on the photography kit at the minute. And I think that's a missed opportunity for everyone else, because I love MagSafe mounts and tripods and that. And yeah, Xiaomi's the only one that lets me use them without taking the whole case off, putting another case on. But otherwise, really nice hardware. So let's go outside and see how it performs. Okay, so I've come to Bradgate Park, which is the same place I've brought all the other teleconverter lenses. But it's a bank holiday weekend and it's really nice weather. And the park is the busiest I've ever seen it. So I think the chances of us getting nice shots of deer are pretty slim, but we'll do what we can. I've got the 400mm lens for the Vivo with me, and I've got the 300mm for the Oppo with me. So we'll do some comparisons and see what kind of shots we can get. If we have to settle for ducks and geese, then so be it. Okay, so for starters, we're going to test out the video zoom. I'm in the same location I was for the Oppo video. I don't know if I'm in the exact same spot because, you know, it's just a field. But we're going to zoom in on this castle on the hill. We're on the ultra wide right now. Here's the main camera. Here's our telephoto. And with no lens attached, we can push out to a maximum of 690mm. And yeah, it doesn't look that bad actually. But I think we'll have a much clearer view with the lens attached. So if I pull back out to about 400mm, it's about there. Here's how it looks without the teleconverter, and now I'll get it attached. Okay, so I've now got the 400mm teleconverter attached, which should look a lot cleaner. Looks pretty clean on the phone screen. You get a button for 800mm. You get a button for 1200mm. and you get a button for 1600mm, which is a crazy zoom on a phone. This is handheld and it's kind of hard to keep stable, but the video processing might smoothen things out. Let's go back to 400mm. And you know what? I've actually seen some deer, but they're really far away. Let me see if I can find them. Here they are. So they're extremely far away, but they don't look far away on this lens. Let's push all the way in. That's mad. Like, they're tiny dots to me with the naked eye, but pretty impressive with the teleconverter lens. Anyway, back to the castle on the hill, and I'll swap over to the Oppo now. So here's the Oppo with its teleconverter lens attached, and obviously it's not quite as zoomed in. Let's push this one in. We got a 30x button and a 60x button, and 60 is our maximum. Which one's looking the clearest? Which one's looking most stable? So when you're shooting with this Vivo lens, it is much harder to keep it stable to frame your shot compared to the Oppo. The Oppo is quite easy to hold steady. The footage looks really shaky on my screen while I'm filming, but I think Vivo will probably clean it up. So when the video is finished processing, there's a good chance it will actually look decent. But yeah, these deer are quite far away, and that extra reach, like double the reach of the other teleconverter, really does make a difference. And you can see, even being this far away, there's still quite a lot of compression that makes for a nice cinematic look. So there you have it, a quick first look at the new 400mm teleconverter for the Vivo X300 Ultra. It's the longest reach we've ever had on a teleconverter like this, and it's great for getting shots of things that are especially far away. Vivo gives you by far the most flexibility in the camera app, so you can film in log, 4K 120, RAW, super RAW, high res, and no one else is really doing that. But it's not all positives. I did find it much harder to frame my shots because the preview is very shaky with this phone, but the result often looked good, especially at 4K 30, 4K 60. 4K 120 is pretty shaky, but because it's slowed down, you can kind of get away with that. Vivo definitely did a bit too much sharpening on some of the pictures, but then, like I said, you can shoot in RAW, you can use your own picture styles, you can turn the sharpness way down, turn the AI off, so it's really, really flexible. As for which kit's better, it all depends on what you need. Vivo's definitely giving you the most options with the camera app and 2 different lenses to choose from, whereas Oppo's really locked down, both in terms of the camera app and with the fact that there's only one lens. So I've still got more testing to do, but really enjoying using this. I might also do some nighttime stuff, so hit subscribe if you want to see that. And of course, we've also got a versus coming up with the Oppo Find X9 Ultra and the Vivo X300 Ultra. So yeah, stay tuned and I will catch you in the next one. Toodles.